What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Smoov Golf Podcast. I'm your host, DJ, and today is a little bit of a special episode, special end of the season episode, if you will. I'm going to be talking about my last two tournaments of the 2024 season. The first one being the Weekly Challenge Golf Tour event at Foxford Hills Golf Club, all the way in Cary, Illinois. And then next, I'm going to be talking about the Tournament of Champions with the Weekly Challenge Golf Tour. That one was at two different courses. I know it's kind of weird, but it happens. I'm going to be talking about what I did right, what I did wrong at both those tournaments, how I felt about my game playing those two. And then ultimately, I'm going to be also be talking about, kind of like end of season stuff. Like, what is the off season going to look like for me in terms of trying to get ready for the next season? And then ultimately what it is I'm going to be looking for the next season ahead. So you guys enjoy the content, definitely stay tuned, and also just support by leaving comments and stuff like that. That helps me out with trying to get to a little bit more into this podcasting thing, because this is my first year doing it, and I like to hear what you guys think. Look, I know the golf season is almost over, but you got to upgrade your wardrobe at some point. I mean, those polos probably looking a little dusty right now. So I would definitely suggest go to 366.com. They got fresh polos with the collarless and the collared. They also got some really good outerwear. Go to 366.com. That's THREESIXTY, the number 6.com, and use the new promo code SMOOVGolf15 to take 15% off your order. Again, that's 366.com, THREESIXTY, the number 6.com, and promo code SMOOVGolf15. That's SMOOVGOLF 15, and to take 15% off your order. Let them know I sent you. All right, welcome back. So, like I said, first off, we're going to be talking about the Weekly Challenge Golf Tour event over at Foxford Hills Golf Club. And the thing is, with that one, I will say that I didn't finish the way I wanted to finish that tournament. And everything just didn't exactly feel... It's like some parts of my game felt right, and then other parts just didn't feel exactly where I needed to be, right? So, and sometimes that's going to happen. First off, I finished with a 9 over par 81 at that course, which honestly is a little bit better than what I did the previous year playing that course, shooting, I think I shot like 85, which is a 4-stroke difference, but it's an improvement. But, for what it is that I was trying to do, it just didn't really fit well. I had a good amount I had 3 birdies on the day, which was great, trying to, control the bleeding just a little bit. But the problem was that I had a good amount of times where shots ended up doing the exact opposite of what I wanted it to do. Especially on like some of my approach shots when it's into wind, or, the wind is with me, when I try to make the adjustments for those. Again, just times where I hit a golf ball too pure and it just ends up going absolutely further than I needed it to go. Which, I've kind of learned that now it's like it's going to happen every so often. I can't be totally mad at it. But I do have to learn how to control those distances just a little bit more. The low light being that I had 1, 2, 3 double bogeys that, definitely doesn't help. Also, having a little more bogeys also didn't help my score at all. So, I had to take, sometimes I have to take what I can get. Driving the ball was decent. I was hitting a decent amount of fairways. I think I only hit like 8 out of 14, which was decent, but it's not great. In terms of greens, it definitely was a little bit more of a low light for me. My goal is always to hit at least, 10 to 12 greens in regulation. That way I know that I'm hitting those greens at a high clip and giving myself enough opportunities to, make birdies or even just, have more par opportunities. And I felt like I didn't do that, only hitting 7 greens in regulation. And I wasn't hitting a lot of my putts. Well, not a lot of my putts, but a lot of my approach shots weren't really getting as close to the hole as I probably would have liked, which in some cases is fine depending on what the pin position is. But also, it's just like, hey, I need to get it closer so that way, it'll be easier to make certain putts when I need to. Short game wasn't that great either. A lot of the chip shots and everything just weren't where they wanted to be. One, I feel like mainly because the course conditions just weren't exactly in the best place. Like at the front of the greens, like right in the fairway, it seemed like the course was just super saturated, just right in that area where it was in front of the green. And a lot of times I found myself in that spot where I was trying to hit a chip shot, and for some reason, because of the ground being so wet, the club just absolutely kind of digs in, and I just couldn't hit the chip the way I wanted to. And it sucked because then I had to try to either chip onto the green again, or I had to, putt from whatever spot on the green that my ball landed onto or finally rolled onto. So chipping was tough because of that. And I just felt like I tried to make the adjustment for it, and even with the adjustment, the club just got grabbed by all the water and the ground. So I just had to deal with whatever I could at that time, and just try to grind out whatever I could, which is why I'm kind of happy with the score that I shot, because it was a little bit of a grind fest for me, and the fact that I was able to grind to 81 was decent, but I felt like it could have been much better. One, if the conditions were better, and two, if I was also somewhat swinging a little bit better. I know with a lot of my approach shots and some of my tee shots, there were times where my swing just was not in rhythm, didn't feel smooth, and that's on me. I just wasn't swinging that good. But, it's just like, hey, if I'm going to be grinding out like this, I need to make sure that, my game is exactly where I need it to be. Hey guys, just because the season is about over now, that doesn't mean the grind doesn't stop. So when you get a chance, head over to your closest 5-iron golf. 5-iron golf is a great place with state-of-the-art technology. Using TrackMan, you can get all the numbers that you need. They now have some new features like speed training. The Performance Center is honestly a personal favorite of mine. Being able to work on my approach shots and trying to get as close to the hole as possible is something that I look forward to and look to do a lot on the golf course, and that's the perfect way to train for it. There are also over 300 courses that you can play on there to get your mind right and be able to work on your swing. So head over to 5-iron golf wherever you can, and keep that grind going. All right, guys, welcome back. So now we're going to be talking about the Tournament of Champions. So the Tournament of Champions took place at 2 different courses. Friday, we played Randall Oaks Golf Club in West Dundee. And then Saturday, we played at Oakbrook Golf Club over in Oakbrook, Illinois. First, we're going to start off with day 1, which was at Randall Oaks. And I have to say, Randall Oaks ran a lot of us over. I mean, like a lot of the competition that was there, we got ran over by Randall Oaks. The greens were running very fast. A lot of the holes, especially with the pin positions, were deceptive, and mainly because like when it got close, when you hit your ball for a putt and it got as close to the hole as it possibly can, it went entirely different directions than you were thinking. Then this was a course where, I mean, it got bad. Like, it got bad for me. Now, granted, I did shoot 82, which I was like, I'm okay with it, considering that, 1, it's the first time I've ever seen the course, and 2, with how the course conditions were, I don't know if I could have shot anything better unless, like, it was like a complete locked-in moment. So first, we're going to talk about some of the stats that I had. So off the tee, definitely had a good day out there. I hit 8 out of 14 fairways, which is not bad. and then my app. So I use the My Golf Practice app, and I use it when I go out to play, especially like in tournaments and just out for practice. So that way I can keep track of my stats and stuff like that. So in terms of strokes gained driving, I gained almost 2.5 strokes, hitting 8 for 14. My longest drive for the day was 332, and I mean, it looked like I hit that thing a mile. In terms of approach game, I only hit 9 greens, which again, 50% is not bad, but it's like I would have liked to, hit more. The problem that I really had was the proximity to hole, which on average was around 29 feet, which doesn't help when you're trying to make putts, especially when you're trying to shoot lower scores. In terms of short game and putting were honestly the freaking worst on that course. A lot of chip shots. If you didn't hit it with a lot of spin, the ball was running away from you probably for about another 25 to 30 feet. Definitely found like on a lot of my chip shots where, open club face, get as much spin as possible. Even with, doing that, the greens were just so firm and so rolly that it just didn't matter. And it really took me aback because then when it came to putting, putting was also the worst ever for the season, actually. I had 37 putts on the day with 5 holes where I 3-putted. And that's not something that you need especially when you're trying to definitely keep yourself in it for a 2-day tournament. Because, the putts really do matter. And looking back at it, I looked at the leaderboard after day 1 and come to find out that I was only out of the lead. Let's put it that way. My goal was to win, but it's like, with what I shot, it's like, it is what it is. Trying to get into a position to cash. But I was out of the lead by 10 shots. So automatically I knew that 5 of those shots was from those 3 putts that I had. But then also thinking about, as a secondary goal, just making sure I get into a spot where I can place and cash. Top 24 got paid out for this tournament. And so for me, in order to be in the top 24 after day 1, I needed another 3 strokes. Well, not another 3 strokes, but I only needed 3 strokes to be in the top 24 after day 1. And again, looking at my stats and where I could have improved and everything, I saw that putting was the main thing with those 3 putts on the day. It really hurt. And I mean, the thing is, it's not like I was that far out. I was only in a tie for 35th after day 1. And only like 3 strokes out of the top 24. So it's not like I was in a totally bad position. But it just definitely hurts the program when it's like, hey, I just had this really bad putting day. Short game wasn't working. Approach game wasn't working. Driving apparently ended up working fine. But, it just doesn't help when one thing works and then everything else is not working. Especially on a course that difficult, and especially with the conditions as they were, super windy. And, another thing was, like, even with the wind, if you adjusted for it, there were times where the ball, like, I had one hole where 195 yards to the pin, winds blowing in the face. It's like a 2-3 club wind. Normally 195 yards, I'm taking 6-iron or 5-iron just to, make sure I get it there and hit it a little softer. I go 2 clubs up, take 3-iron, hit it up in the air to get the wind to kind of bring it back and onto the green. And I watched my ball fly 5 yards over the green. And it hurt because it was just like, I felt like I played the shot the best that I could. Say hi to Oreo for me. And, I played the shot the best that I could, and just everything just went the opposite of how I envisioned. So, I had to take that into consideration. So now we're going to move on to day 2, which was at Oak Brook. and it was kind of like night and day in terms of performance. And so here's the thing: like I had a feeling that Oakbrook was going to be the course that I would kind of make a comeback and try to get as far up the leaderboard as I could. One, because I was familiar with it from playing it last year, and two, having known some of the holes that I could attack easily. I was like, hey, I can definitely go at this course. So I definitely tried to, but I had a little bit of a shaky start. So started off going par, double, and the doubles was on I would say a fairly easy par 5 and a fairly easy par 4. Um, and really, the the par 5 was technically the number one handicap hole, but last year I had actually played it and birdied it. And then even the fourth hole was one that I had parred last year. So I'm going into those holes thinking, okay, play it the same way that you played it last year. You know what you can do with these two holes. So now it's just, actually going up and doing it. And I went up to go do that and just caught the absolute worst luck. Losing a ball on the fourth hole, hitting a random tree branch and getting knocked down into the water on the third hole, the par 5. So it's just like, I had to take what I could get. But I will say this, I was pissed. I mean, I was insanely pissed off because I'm like, I'm playing, as best as I can. And my goal is to try to get into the top 24, especially knowing that this event is handicapped where, all handicaps are played equally. It's like, I really didn't need the two double bogeys back to back. And so I was pissed. I was insanely pissed, and I had to try to figure out how to kind of get myself back into it. So next hole, par 4, 380. Don't hit the fairway, hit the green, 2 putt for par, and I'm like, okay, cool. We're not totally out of it. I mean, I parred the hole after the two double bogeys, so it's like I can't be that far out. So then going to the next hole after that, get a birdie. I'm like, okay, cool. We're somewhere in this. We're moving. We're getting somewhere. So just trying to stay patient, trying to not let my anger, get the best of me. And if anything, I let the anger kind of fuel this kind of comeback that I was trying to make. So after the fourth hole going double on holes 3 and 4, I go par birdie, par to finish out the front 9, which honestly was great because then it's like, I finished at 2 over, but having done that, I also shot up the leaderboard, which was great. I didn't take a look at the leaderboard until about maybe the 15th hole because I was so focused on trying to make sure that, I keep playing the way I was playing. Get to the back 9, and again, just absolutely staying patient, going 2 pars in a row, then getting another birdie, doing the same thing, 2 pars in a row, getting another birdie, par the 16th hole, and then end up bogeying the last 2, which I'm kind of okay with. Those 2 were kind of, I wouldn't say they were difficult, but just had a couple shots where they just didn't end up the way that I wanted them to, and just had to kind of do damage control. So I was fine with that. In terms of stats and score, I ended up shooting a 2 over 74 at Oakbrook, which again, like I said, shot me up from tie for 35th after day 1 into a tie for 12th to finish out the tournament, which was absolutely fantastic. It was a jump of like 23 spots. And it let me know that, hey, there is, I know that there's room for improvement, especially in the mental game. But I know that, if I keep myself mentally there, even if I get angry or pissed off, if I, kind of reverse the flow of that anger and, just kind of move it into, okay, let's play positive. Let's get this back where we want it to be. Then I know that, I'm going to be in a better spot. So in terms of stats, driving was okay. It wasn't the best. I didn't hit as many fairways, only hitting 5. which I'm not going to complain about because I was still getting to the green even from the rough and wherever places that I was. Also, it did rain this day, so it kind of helped out just a little bit to get the ball to stop on the green. And also, the greens being a little slower, it was a little easier to make putts. And when I say it was easier, it was much easier. Short game and approach shots. Although approach shots, I hit 61% of the greens. The problem was, again, proximity to the hole. I wasn't anywhere like closer than 15 feet. Honestly, it was like 18 feet and a half. So if I can just get that to, kind of get closer and closer, then I'd be okay. Short game, got up and down a pretty good amount, especially on some holes where I just couldn't hit the green in regulation, which was fine. Um, I think I got 4 out of 7 in terms of up and downs, which was great. Putting also was great, having only 28 putts total, and that helped out a lot because, like I said, with that, I was able to kind of keep everything, kind of level and just kind of moving in the direction that I wanted. And so, with that, like I said, tied for 12 at a tournament where I think I took 35th even the previous year playing in this tournament, to improve 23 spots from the first year of playing. That's a huge improvement. And then, like I said, it lets me know that, once I learn to, turn the anger that I usually have at like some bad breaks or anything like that into like more positive and more of a fuel for, playing better, then I know that, like especially if I go to play like other stuff like let's say the US Open local qualifying or the Illinois Open qualifying next year, then I know that I can, definitely move myself in the right direction, especially like on a bad start. All right, guys. So the 2024 season is over, but the thing is, I'm still going to be grinding. I'm still going to be getting myself ready for the 2025 season. But I do need you guys' help. I am looking for sponsors to help with paying for entry fees, possibly some travel fees that are associated with some tournaments if necessary. If you would, please go check out the website, smoovgolf.com, and also check out the sponsorship page. There you can learn about different ways to become a sponsor, whether it's a one-time donation or you can become a contracted sponsor for either one tournament, multiple tournaments, or even a full season. And that way you get like a little bit of a return on investment. And you get your name out there in the professional golf world. So again, check that out. Go to smoovgolf.com and check out the sponsorship page. If you want to learn more about some of the tournaments that I played in, you can also check out the playing resume. As of right now, it's more about mini tours at this point, but I'm looking to play in some bigger things, and hopefully, I will have your support in doing so. All right, guys, and welcome back to the show. I do apologize for a lot of the background music. Currently had a change of location as we are now in Five Iron Golf in River North. So basically, now with the season being over, it's time for my off-season grind, which means I'm going to be getting back in the gym. I just got a new membership starting November 1st. I am also going to be working on intermittent fasting again, which I've already started working on as of literally last night. Um, and just going to be overall going to be practicing and playing more in the simulators, at least for now. Because I also know that there are like some opportunities to play like competitive golf on the TrackMan simulators. So I will be playing on those for a little while, at least until the weather breaks and we can start going back outside. Now, the thing is, also with my practices, I am also going to be trying to make sure that they're a little bit more focused and they're a little bit more, you know, um, well, I guess focus is the best word because there are some times where I do get a little last days go and just kind of do whatever. So I'm going to be using my golf practice app as much as possible to plan out my practices, especially my indoor sessions as well. Um, and I'm also going to be speed training again. I already started just with my own little routine, but I may actually go through the super speed routine for speed training and just try to see if I can gain like an extra, not even a lot, like maybe 3 to 4 miles an hour club head speed on the driver, um, just so that way I can get a little more distance and just kind of play catch up. Um, Now the thing is that I'm not going to try to hit that too heavy because I do have a fast enough speed as it is, and I don't need to. I don't feel like I need to really go full bore into it. And again, it's just like this is just stuff to try to prepare for the 2025 season, and then I'll also be looking at some equipment changes, mainly in the irons, like 2 iron and my actual irons. I'm actually going to be looking to upgrade those into like different models and trying to see what else I can come up with for my bag for the 2025 season. Woods is already figured out. Wedges, I think I'm going to stay with my RTX zip course for right now, unless there's a reason I need to switch to the RTX 6s, which I don't see right now. But looking at equipment, getting my body right and everything, that's going to be my goal for the off season. If you guys would like to support and be there for the journey of professional golf, go to smoothgolf.com, check out the sponsorship page. You can also check out the Etsy store, smoothgolf.etsy.com. Every purchase that you make on there will go towards entry fees and travel fees. Again, check out 366.com and definitely get some new shirts, especially like if you work in the office or you just need some new shirts for like playing golf, bowling, whatever the case may be. Definitely grab some of those shirts, especially because they take advantage of those new customer deals. So when you go there, use promo code SmoothGolf15 and you can take 15% off your order. So definitely check that out as well. Also check out the sponsorship page. There you will find different ways to kind of support, whether it's one-time donations or if you want to become a contracted sponsor, whether for one tournament, multiple, or even a full season. There are definitely options that you can explore that may fit your situation best. So definitely check that out as well. All right, guys, and that's it for the 2024 season end. Overall, again, just totally happy with how I performed so far over the 2024 season, especially with as many top 5 finishes that I've had this year, including like maybe the top 10s, and especially at the Tournament of Champions, taking a tie for 12th is definitely a huge accomplishment, especially coming back from where I was. So again, I feel satisfied with what I've done this year, and I feel like there's going to be great momentum going into the 2025 season. So again, thank you for listening, and if you have any comments, concerns, definitely hit me up through the comments and let me know what you think. And I'm glad to see you guys, and glad to see that you guys are supporting by listening to the podcast, and hope to see you in the 2025 season.